Welcome, Dungeon Masters and players, but mainly Dungeon Masters. So this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to set up a turn order, run an initiative on Roll20, but a lot of these principles apply to even tabletop. But this is if you're using electronic tools like VTT, Boundary, Fantasy Grounds, etc. So what's going to be covered today? Uh, how to set up your turn order, what to do if a player is out of initiative, how to add them back in, what to do with a tie. If both players roll the same number, how do you break that tie? How do you add in creatures in waves? So the players can't see the initiative, and you can bring them in if you want to at a later date if a fight's going to easily, or if you just want to have waves of enemies. And lastly, most importantly, a huge time saver, a free macro. All the macros are free actually, but a macro you can use for initiative that will make your turnover go by 4 or 5 times as fast easily. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's see, we are going to be using the Dragon of Stormwreck Isle is the module for today's purposes. This game I have titled Initiative, and we're going to launch this game now. So again, this is the starter set, Dragon of Stormwreck Isle. It is for first level characters. I think it ends at level 3. It's perfect for brand new players, people completely new to D&D, or people who might not have that much experience with D&D or roll something like Roll20. But if you've not played it, veterans, you can have fun as well. It's a very good module to DM. There's a bunch of extras in here they give you. They do have pre-generated characters if your players have never played. There's the classic party composition: cleric, fighter, paladin, rogue, wizard, etc. And these tokens are very well done. Really like the artwork style. But my experience has been your players will want to make their own characters. Long term, it's better anyway. So let's get started. The characters are going to Stormwreck Isle. There's a temple here. It's a famous temple. Travelers, sages, people seeking knowledge and solace come to a temple called Dragon's Rest. Side note, a lot of these new modules are very slick. The published ones, they come with locations that are on the GM layer. And you can bring these up to the token layer as the players explore. So they're going to be landing at Dragon's Rest. Quick read aloud. The journey was uneventful, but the island, now visible off the bow, promises rare wonders. Avoiding the rocks jutting up from the ocean, your ship makes its way towards a calm harbor on the island's north side. A large open-air temple comes into view, perched on a cliff high above you. The ship drops anchor at the mouth of the harbor, and two sailors row you ashore. The sailors set you on a rockety deck where a large rowboat is neatly tied. They point to the base of the past and wish you good luck before they row the ship back. Your visit to Dragon's Rest begins now. So players have been taken to this dock and arrived here. Let me do one thing. Yeah, okay. So we're not going to be using the pre-generated characters again. We're going to be using ones that players would actually make. I'd already had this set earlier, so let's go ahead and move everyone to the GM layer. Oops. This boat is an addition you can add. This map is not included. The published modules have fairly strong, typically, main maps, but the filler maps are either going to be just a blank tile map or just non-exist at all. So you can add some things relatively easily by finding maps online, and that is not hard to do. So we want a visual for this, particularly our characters just starting D&D. Um, we want them to really be engaged. So our players have landed. This is a Vupi, the rogue. They're going in a marching order. This is a Clawley, the stalwart fighter, a Glom, our mage, and our cleric, Ipa. All of these names are randomly generated. Some I would change them personally, but sometimes they're random. Names can give you good ideas to riff off of as far as names for characters. So, or if a player character just doesn't know what they want to name their character, it's great. Anyway, so they're on the shore. This is the path leading up to the temple, and our players have stepped off. Our characters have stepped off. As they do so, they notice something to their left. As they leave the beach and you start your climb, you hear a ruckus of splashing and a wet, gurgling moan behind you, to your left, actually. Three figures are shambling up from the water's edge about 30 feet away. They are dressed as sailors, but their skin is gray and they look drowned. Seawater drools from their slack mouths as they lurch towards you. So I've got the zombies ready to come up the beach. They are on the GM layer. Let's bring them over to the token layer now. Now, they are very aggressive, very hungry. They want human flesh. And the party probably doesn't want to part with that. So let's get into initiative. Zombies are very savage and ugly. These are images that I've created with an AI just to spice things up a bit. And so how do we start? So underneath the ruler tool in Roll20, there's a turn order tool. You can click that. And let's do this the old-fashioned way first. So I'm going to open each character sheet and click initiative. Click on the token and add it in. If you don't, it's going to show up in the chat, but it's not going to show up in the turn order. And we'll demonstrate that later and how to fix that. So this is fairly quick, although you can see it's kind of time consuming. Say I had 8 creatures. This is kind of time consuming, but the players will be opening up their own sheets and clicking initiative after they click on the token. Initiative. Let's do a glom. Whoops. If you click shift and you double click the tokens, the sheets will open up. Initiative. Um, let's see. So let's say that Alvipe, she didn't click on her token. She clicked on her sheet out of the journal. What happens then? So her token is not selected, but she is clicking initiative. So she's got a 12. Let's sort the initiative and see if she is in. Descending. Yeah, she is in. VP is in. Everyone's in. Yeah, okay, perfect. But let's say a VP was not in turn order, and she needed to be added in. So if you hover over the image, you can click it. We're going to take her out for now. And let's right click her again and add initiative. So she's got a 5 this time, but she initially rolled a 12. So how can we fix that? So we want to go into add turn, and she will be at the bottom. If you hover over the number and click, you can adjust all initiatives. So um, this also comes in handy if you have someone who maybe has advantage on initiative for whatever reason and needs to roll twice. You can adjust this. So this 5, we're going to delete a VP there. We've added her back in with a 12, and we will sort. Okay, so the zombies are going first, or one of the zombies. If you hover over the image, it will show you which one. The zombies are relatively slow, but they can reach Akali. So he's going to come up and swing on a collie with a slam. 19 for 7. Okay, so it's a pretty big hit at first level. She's only got 6 hit points left. We can adjust that here. And a glom. We're just going to run through just this opening series of attacks. She's going to use a firebolt on that same zombie. 14 will hit for 4 damage, and we can mark that off. It's going to be 13. This zombie maybe had been bit by a shark. He was already damaged a bit. So how do we clear turn order? We clear turn order by just clicking on the images going all the way out. So now the turn order is gone. Let's say the party has dealt with these zombies relatively easily. And the fight is now over. They're a little bit wounded, but they are on the way to the temple victorious. Let's reset this though. So I'm going to put them back on the GM layer. This module does have a very nice macro. There's a macro down here under NPC initiative. So how do we use macros? You don't need a pro account. Free account can use these. Let's copy this little bit of code here, and we're going to go up to where the cogwheel says, right by the cogwheel, it says collection. And where it says macros here, we're going to click add. This is a new macro. We're going to paste what we just copied. Now, we want this to be something that is easy for us to read and understand, and also for the players to read and understand. So this is going to make a button where we can just click this and monsters or characters will be an initiative. So let's show as token action, meaning when you click on the token, the initiative will show up. And we want all of our players to see this so they can use it. And let's save these changes. So now the initiative macro is set up and we want it in the bars. So now when I bring my characters over, my monsters over to the token layer and I click these tokens, there's going to be a purple button that's going to pop up. So now, as opposed to opening up each individual sheet and trying to find the initiative button, I can just click the token, hit initiative. I will post this macro in the comment section. So you can see how quickly this moves through, and it applies all bonuses off the character sheets. So all the players are being added in very quickly. And this cuts down on opening sheets all the time. So in about a minute, maybe less, I've got 7 characters in sorting, and we're ready to go. 17. But my zombies rolled a 0. They have a very bad dexterity, obviously. So anyway, we would be good to go here. Now, we've got 2 zombies here at 0. This is a tie. How do we resolve a tie? So if the zombies, this isn't actually a problem in this scenario because the zombies are right behind each other in turn order. But let's say Aklali had tied it with a 13 with the zombie. So what we want to do, how do we break ties? Well, there's a couple ways you can break ties. You can just break ties manually, or let's move Ipa up here. Go with higher dexterity. If both match on dexterity and the initiative score, you can roll d20s and the highest will win. I think this is a very common house rule, but there's also a game setting you can go to. So when you set your game up, go here, click game settings, scroll down. There's a few different things you can click here. And we want to click this, add dex tiebreaker to initiative, this button here. So this is going to give you a tiebreaker. And it's going to be a decimal point for the tiebreaker. It just calculates it automatically. So it's a big time saver. There's nothing wrong with using any of the home rules or just picking as a DM who's going first, who's going last. Um, but this is a big time saver on dexterity uh, initiative, determining order. Now, lastly, let's say we wanted, uh, let's say we had 6 characters and 3 zombies is not going to be enough of a challenge for these guys. And we want to bring in a different monster on round 2. So how do we do that? What we want to do is put their creature or creatures, on the GM layer and roll initiative for them here. So even though he's on GM layer, it still shows. Now, if we click this button, so this is set to go to me. That's very important. If it's not going to the GM, the players, even though they can't see the monster, they will know what they rolled, and they will also know um, that there is a creature here. So what are the settings for that? Let's go up here to the school, open them up, and we want to click this cogwheel. You can adjust all of these items however you want. Let's say we wanted him to maybe have a tattered scale mail. So we can change that AC to 16, like so. And we're going to keep going down. Let's see. Okay, so we're here under general options, and always roll advantage is good. Um, whisper roll to GM is going to be whisper toggle. You can change that to however you want. So once he's on the token layer, I would go change it back to never whisper rolls. I like public rolls. I do not like GM rolls unless absolutely necessary. This is actually one of the cases where it is necessary. So at least for the initiative portion. So click that and it will save these settings. So now we've got our ghoul in. He is in at 4, but the players cannot see him. So let's sort this out. They can't see him or his role. Let's test it out. Let's rejoin as a player. Okay, so the creature is not visible to the players, and his initiative is not visible. Also, since it's been rolled to me, his initiative is not visible to players. This is a 2GM, so the players will not be able to see that. And once we get him back, once he's in the turn order, say round 2, we can then go back and change his settings to always roll publicly if you like. And let's bring him over. So the second round of combat has started, and he's here. Let's go ahead and fix him up. It's a little extra work, but if you have monsters you want to bring in and you want to save some time and already have them rolled versus rolling them as they enter, we'll change this back to never whisper rolls now that he's in initiative and seen, and go back up and save it to the cogwheel. There we go. So the ghoul, the combat is moving along. Players have dispatched a couple of zombies. Let's take them out. And the ghoul is coming over to attack Akali. Okay, Akali is wounded. We do have a cleric, so no worry. See, Akali's going to swing on the approaching ghoul with a maul. 22 is going to hit for 7. Mark that off. 15. The ghoul is going to attack back with a bite. 13 is going to miss. But you can see that the bite is now public. We've changed it on the sheet. So the characters know what they're getting into, know what the rolls are. I'm not fudging these rolls. 20 would hit, and actually probably downer, but we're not doing a combat demo today. We are doing a turn order initiative demo. A glom would definitely fire magic missiles. A ranger would be shooting a short bow, and Ipa would be casting a healing spell. And the good guys will have won this encounter. This is a nice first encounter. It's gets the players started quickly, get some rolling dice, and that's how you do turn order most importantly, out of all of this, I think is the initiative macro. So get that set up, guys. It will save you a lot of time. And again, if you want to remove people from turn order, just click their image. If you want to change a number for whatever reason, just click the number and you can change that up or down, 8. And moving through turn order is this simple, these arrows. And if you want to go back, say you missed a character, that's fairly common, particularly in large combats. If you missed a character, oh wait, Clawley, I didn't see you, I'm sorry. And then she's back in turn order, ready to go. And with that, guys, I think that's the end of this tutorial. Went a little bit longer than I thought, but there's a lot to cover. Um, have good games this week and weekend, and have fun rolling dice. I will see you guys in a little bit.